Adam Lerner, and welcome to this week's Friday Flickr Photo Critique. And today we're going to just do something a little bit different. Yes, I have received tons of amazing submissions from you guys, and I really want to give them the time that they're due. But I have been insanely busy shooting, which has been amazing. I mean, I love what I do, and I'm so glad that this has been a really busy season. I came off of doing New York Fashion Week, which was insane. I mean, each show I'm doing backstage and runway, I'm putting in 2 to 3 hours of shows, sometimes shooting 3 to 4 shows a day, and trying to schlep my gear back and forth, from Brooklyn all the way to New York City's Upper West Side. And for those of you guys who don't live in New York and haven't tried to move around New York City with a lot of stuff on your back, let me tell you something. It's a challenge in itself. But again, that's what we have to do as photographers. That's part of our job. So I've been crazy busy. I've been shooting all kinds of fashion stuff. I've been doing, some menswear. I've been doing some catalog stuff. I'm shooting for some magazines. It's been really exciting. And unfortunately, I haven't had as much time as I normally have to do some videos. But today I just wanted to just kind of do a little bit of a photo recap on some of the images that I shot during Fashion Week and talk a little bit about shooting candids and stuff like that. And here we have a shot of a model having her makeup done. This is nice natural light, and she's definitely shooting me a look. But to be honest with you, I really like to wait for these looks, and sometimes you just kind of have to sit there and wait for you to get a look. Now, these girls, they're trained, they're conditioned. They know that the minute the camera goes up, they know to look at the camera, to smile for the camera. However, some of them are not always super excited about being shot when they're, not quite fully ready. Anyway, just to finish on that, I don't know. I mean, this, she didn't have any kind of problem with me necessarily. So either I caught her off guard or whatever, but it just makes for a really cool shot because it does look like she's giving me the hairy eyeball. This is a runway shot at the Vivienne Tam runway show. And the thing that Vivienne Tam always does is that she always projects the models coming down the runway on this enormous panel of screens, of LED television screens. So they're like these huge, enormous sized projection of the girls as they're coming down the runway. So I was trying to time things so that I could get a mirror of the girl coming down the runway and the back of the screen. The other thing that you also have to consider is that you have to shoot at a certain shutter speed, because if you shoot at too low of a shutter speed, you're going to get all kinds of clipping going on there, because the refresh rate for those monitors is at a certain amount of hertz or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a techie guy. But the point of the matter is that if you were shooting like 320 or below, you would get some weird kind of a line going through your thing, because the shutter would be coming down, the two curtains would be coming down at a slower rate than the screens would be refreshing, and it would look really kind of wacky. So I think I shot this at 6/40th. This is all from my Flickr stream. All of this can be found over there. I think this was f2.8 at a 6/40th of a second and maybe 1000 ISO. All right, so let us move on. All right, so this girl is Charlotte Free. She's kind of like a known model, and she's got like a real kind of attitude. She's incredibly stunning. She's got piercing blue eyes. She's got this crazy pink hair. She's wearing a shirt that, has kind of like a little bit of a message on that with an alien over there. And, she just shot me this look, and I waited for it, and I got this look, and I just love it. I just think it's just really an intense look, and I'm happy with that one right there. Okay, I honestly don't remember what show this was at, but, this was just, a nice behind-the-scenes shot, and, you've got the intensity of the action going on behind her with the folks that are, working her hair, and she's just, sitting there, yep, I'm getting my hair done, and I'm looking at the photographer. Here's the same girl, and this kind of gives you an idea of how much is going on. Like in this particular instance, she's got 4 people working on her. I've even seen it at times when there's 6 or more, where you've got one person on each hand doing the nails, one person on each foot doing each the pedicures, and then you've got 2 to 4 people working on the hair, depending on how intense things are and how late it's getting. You can also see in the back there's this board over here. These are the models. These are the looks that they're going for. This is a reference card over here. And, you know, it's kind of chaotic. Everyone just kind of finds a space and works in it. Okay, this was it from the Betsey Johnson show. Now, Betsey Johnson is a fashion icon. You know, some of you might have heard of her. Some of you might not have heard of her. She's inspired generations of people. She was huge in the 80s, you know, in the whole Madonna era. And this woman is 69 years old, and she was doing cartwheels and full splits down the runway. And part of her vibe is to get the models and get everybody really amped up. So unlike a lot of the other behind the scenes backstage shows that I was shooting, her show's crazy. She's got a DJ going. She's got, you know, food going down there. She's got, you know, huge plates of candy and M&Ms. She just, you know, she's got all this kind of artwork hanging up there. It's very different than a lot of the other shows because, like I said, she really wants to have a party atmosphere, and she also wants to incite her models to bring out the best performance. So she really gets involved, and a lot of that is just her getting psyched up and just going and having a good time and hoping that she can get that energy out of the girls that she works with. Speaking of which, this is one of her models, and you can see she's there. This is a runway, runway rehearsal. So she's sitting there. This is Betsey right here, the designer, and she's like cheering her on, and she's giving her direction, and she's telling this girl right here to just have fun with it, to, you know, do all this kind of stuff. You can see that there's all kinds of people that are over here. There's videographers. There's people that are shooting video with DSLRs. There's you know, I think that this is, well, anyway, there's tons of people here. Crazy shoes, of course, and you have that kind of fun party atmosphere. This was just a behind the scenes shot, and you can see how she's kind of got her hand up to her lip. A lot of these girls are kind of like, they'll do these like quote unquote beauty shots where they'll kind of do this thing and they'll show like the nails, because oftentimes there's nail companies that are affiliated with these shows, and they'll put their hands around their mouth. I'm not really a fan of that contrived stuff. I think that I kind of prefer more of the candid stuff, but there was something really striking about this, and those piercing blue eyes, you know, they just happen to go with those blue nails and this guy's blue shirt. They all tie in together, so, you know, to me this kind of works. This was just, you know, runway shot with this crazy kind of, you know, I think this was made out of paper. It's like a paper, feathery looking cape. And, you know, it's kind of like oddly fashioned. I mean, the problem is that some of these designers, you know, they have the best intentions, but their clothes kind of suck. So you have a beautiful girl and you have weird fitting clothes with this weird thing on her back. But you know what? I mean, you know, I guess to each their own. This was what's called a presentation. Now, there are, you know, a pretty healthy mix of presentations versus runway shows. A presentation is when the models are presented in some kind of a format. And in this particular case, they were just assembled on these painted boxes, and the crowd or the audience is invited to go in and kind of circulate and just look at them, and all the lighting is kind of just pointed accordingly. These kind of shows, you know, are a little bit less dynamic, you know, for me as a photographer, because, you know, the women are static. But at the same time, you know, the ensemble of all of them kind of arranged over there makes, you know, for an interesting photograph, even though the clothes, again, in my opinion for this, and I'm not really a fashion critic, are just kind of weird. Anyway, moving on. All right, again, Betsey Johnson, you know, and you can just see like all the attitude going on here. I mean, she's like, you know, giving like the dual peace sign. She's got that kind of growling face going on, and like some crazy accessories, this, you know, crazy, you know, earring thing, and this, I don't even know what you'd call that, like some kind of a crown headpiece thing. This is Betsey Johnson. I mean, she's, you know, punk rock, she's individual, and this is her style. Moving on. This was designer Benetti, and this was an off-site show, meaning that this was not at the tents at Lincoln Center where the majority of the tent shows and Fashion Week happens. It's not uncommon for designers to do off-site shows. This was at this nightclub that was, you know, in the meatpacking district, or, you know, downtown from where the Lincoln Center is. And this was a cool space. It had like this cantilever roof that kind of like was, you know, motorized, that could slide open or closed. And, they, you know, these girls had these kind of crazy headdresses on, and, you know, whatever. I mean, it's, again, it's high fashion. This girl was part of that show, and I mean, just unbelievably beautiful. I mean, just those beautiful eyes, and like just just huge, this gorgeous hair, and she just is one of those that she can do. All she has to do is look at the camera, and the camera loves her, and she did that just for me. Again, this was from that same show. Oh, let me just go back there. And, they had like these swings and whatever, and they had the girls sitting in the swings. And, it's kind of like an unusual thing. But, I liked the way she was sitting there, and just grabbed that shot. Let's see. This was from a Reem Acra show. And the thing that I liked about this show is that the runway was kind of this glossy material, so you got like this really incredible reflection, so you've got all this detail down here going up into there, and it just made for a nice striking contrast. And you had the really flowy clothes, so it looks almost like watery, almost wet, so just really nice over there. Another backstage shot, just another girl just, shooting me that look, just being like, all right, take the picture. But again, just a nice, backstage look. Another Vivienne Tam shot, just of her, coming down the runway. I tend to like to shoot when the girls are kind of in that forward position, swinging the hip a little bit with one leg out. I just think it's more flattering, more complimentary. This guy, this is tragic. This designer, I don't know what the hell they were thinking or what the heck they were thinking. Please forgive me. But this outfit to me is just ridiculous. And, look at this guy. He's like wearing like weird undies with circles and some weird shirt. This, again, it's not my job to judge the fashion. I just take the pictures. But this to me is just way off the mark. Here we got Charlotte Free again. This is the Runway Rehearsal. And, just look at her. She's fierce. She's got that look. She's got those intense, almost watery blue eyes, pink lips, pink hair, and just, she's full of attitude. And, that's one thing that's really interesting about shooting models is that you might think like, oh, my God, that girl is so beautiful or that guy is so cute or whatever. But actually connecting with the camera and modeling and really kind of exuding some kind of an emotion or feeling, there's only a handful of people that can do that. You even see that at these runway shows. You see some of these girls going down the runway, and they're fun, and you can't take your eyes off of them, not just because they're beautiful, but because they've got some kind of an energy going on. And then you've got some other girls that go down, the runway, and they're just like a wet blanket. They're just kind of going through the motions, and you think to yourself, man, you guys have like one of the best jobs on the planet. You should try to enjoy it. But anyway, that's just, again, my opinion. So here we go, another shot from the Betsey Johnson show, and this is a runway rehearsal shot. And, I just love this shot because, you really get a sense of, like, look at this woman. She's what, probably like 6 foot tall just to begin with, and then you've got like these 6-inch heels on there. So, just kind of a cool behind-the-scenes, runway rehearsal shot before the big show. This was another shot, hair being done, and, this model just, saw me taking her picture and just, made a little kiss face, and hey, why not? I just happened to grab it. This was a runway rehearsal for Vivienne Tam. You got all the girls lined up on the runway. I love the symmetry of all of the girls kind of lined up. You've got this line kind of cutting through things over here, and like the intense bright that's just lighting their faces. And this woman who's got her back to us, she's always like the one in charge of kind of, telling them the drill, telling them what to do and how to walk, and where to stand for their photograph and things like that. And the interesting thing is that these girls are from all over the place. Some of them are from the United States, but a lot of them are from Russia, from Brazil, from wherever. And interestingly, sometimes when somebody's giving direction, one of them is getting it, but the girl in front of her or behind her doesn't get it. So she's just thinking, all right, I'll just follow that girl. And sometimes you get like these kind of groups of girls that like they don't understand what's going on necessarily, and then when during the rehearsal they get kind of yelled at and everything like that. But Vivienne Tam, she brings a high level of model to her shows, and her shows are pretty much impeccable. Another Betsey Johnson, and again, I have to say it was probably my favorite show because they just had the most attitude. This girl is full of sass. Look at her, look at that stance, look at that expression. She's just exuding like coolness, and she's got tons of attitude, but she's so sexy and so hot. And I just love the shot. And those shoes, my God, I don't even know how anybody could walk in those. And of course, this is obviously self-explanatory, but you see these, these pinstripes over here. Betsey actually has the girls lay down on their stomachs, and she, with a thick Sharpie, she does this line, and she signs her name on one side, Betsey, and then she puts the model's name on the other side, Lena. So, it's just kind of a cool little signature trait that Betsey has done for years and continues to do with her runway shows. This is just a backstage behind the scenes shot. This girl is getting her makeup done. I just loved the way the light was hitting her face. And this is uncropped, just right out of the camera like this. Just kind of a nice, pretty beauty shot. Another Betsey shot, and, crazy outfit, crazy accessories, and quite the crazy look. Again, this is right out of the camera, uncropped. I mean, it's edited, I should say, but it's not cropped. And just her body language here, I just love it. I think that this is just a really, just a cool moment here, and that's a lot of what I look for. You've got folks in the runway, in the pit, that are just going in motor drive, and they're just going, and you just hear them fluttering through images. I tend to want to be a little bit more choosy with what I'm shooting and just kind of time things a little bit more and look for moments. But, to each their own. I mean, some of these other photographers, they're reporting for news agencies, and they just have to drill through them and just deliver them. So anyway, I really like that shot. And that is my Fashion Week set that I have on Flickr. If you want to go to my Flickr, it's Damski, Damski. All of my XF information is in there. I have maybe one more video that I'm going to be delivering from Fashion Week, and then we're going to be moving on. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below or email adamlernerphoto@gmail.com. That's it for now, and we'll see you soon.